Hey guys, it's Hannah and welcome back to the Dyslexic Reader where we talk about books. If you're new to this channel, consider subscribing if you like to talk about books, because I know I do. Today we are going to be reviewing October Skies by Alex Scarrow. This is a book that takes place really in two halves. The first part is about 140-ish settlers that try to make it from the East Coast America over to the West Coast in a little wagon train, and they get caught out by snow and they're never heard from again. The second half of the book occurs in modern time, which is 2008 when the book was written, and two journalists stumble across the camp and they find a diary of one of these settlers, and it goes back and forth between them trying to work out what happened to make a documentary and excerpts from the diary, and that's sort of all I want to give you into the plot. There's a bit more of the plot on the back, but I think it goes in a little too far. I have been holding on to this book since June. I think I bought it in June for 50p out of a charity shop, which was a great steal in my opinion, and I have been holding on to it until it got to October. But just to let you know, it's not necessarily an October read. I thought that it was going to be October-y, but it wasn't. A lot of it took place in heavy snow, so it's probably more of like a winter read. And the modern day storyline takes place in 1 week, but the 1856 storyline takes place over like the whole, starting in October and goes right through to the spring. So not necessarily an October read. I will let you know before we get into the rest of this spoiler-free review that I would mention that there is child abuse of a sexual nature alluded to in this story. So if that's something that you find heavy to read, then maybe this one isn't for you. So on to my review. There was some things of this book that I thought were done brilliantly, and the first thing that really stuck out to me was the pacing of the storyline. Right from the beginning, I was hooked and I felt that the story progressed evenly throughout the whole story. There was always something going on. I always wanted to read more, and there was no really gaps of filler in the book, which I think was done incredibly well. I think that the writing style and how Alex was able to switch between the two perspectives, I feel like sometimes in a story that can be really jarring, but I think it worked well in this, and that's maybe due to Alex's background. It says in the back of the book that actually his main career is in writing storylines, plots and dialogue for video games, which was one of the things that really intrigued me in this. I thought that it would be a fun, spooky, absorbing read, which it really was, and you can tell the way that the two plots fit together perfectly, and I think that has maybe something to do with it. So the setting of this book was so immersive, and I guess that's to do with the writing style as well, but it's the sort of book you pick up and you're just immediately after a couple of words completely in the story. And I was visiting my dad and he thought I had fallen asleep because I had disappeared for like 2 hours. He thought I had gone to take a nap, and I had went to read this for like 10 minutes. Like I thought, oh, I'll just go and like get another like chapter in while he was doing something, and got completely sucked in, and I didn't see the time fly. I will say at about the halfway point, I had the ending completely worked out. Probably about a third in, I started to get nigglings, and by the half point, I had solved it. But I feel like most thrillers, it's obvious nearly what's coming, but it doesn't really detract from the story or the book. And I felt even in the final half, even though I had worked it out, I kept getting the, oh, well, maybe it's that person. And I go, no, I'll stick with my idea. And then I heard something else and I went, well, maybe I am wrong. But I stuck with my idea the whole way through, and it turned out that's what the ending was. But I would definitely say that they had me veering towards other ideas, and it wasn't that I read half the book and was like, right, I know what happens now. I was completely hooked. I enjoyed the writing, the pacing and the setting of this book so much that I hadn't even finished at 20 minutes and I was already onto my library. They have lots of books by Alex Scarrow and I've already placed one of them on hold. That's how much I enjoyed this book. If you haven't guessed from this review so far, I've given it 5 stars. I would say that some of the characters in this are a bit religious bashing, not to all religions. To some religions there's a bit of religion bashing, but that doesn't come across as the tone of the book. That comes across as the personalities of the characters, and I think getting that balance is hard to do, but I think it was done not perfectly but quite well. So it didn't come across as the book was bashing religion, but some of the characters were, if you understand what I mean. But I thought it was pretty good, and I would definitely recommend it to anyone who's looking at a scary read. It was scary, it was atmospheric, it was spooky, it was quick, and it was enjoyable, and again, 5 stars. Would definitely recommend October Skies or Alex Scarrow to anyone looking a good spooky thriller.